So we have Mafia the Old Country coming this week, and I cannot freaking wait for this game. And for the majority, there's been a lot of positive reception about this game. There's also been a few mixed feelings about this as well, mainly because this is a AA budget, much smaller, tighter game focused on its storytelling, which I'm fine with, by the way. So here are 10 things you need to know about Mafia the Old Country. So Mafia the Old Country is set in the 1900s Sicily, and if you have never played any of the Mafia games, do not worry, as this is a prequel and set around 25 years before Mafia 1. You follow Enzo Favara, a young man born in poverty and who is forced to work in the sulfur mines. With his hard work and dedication, he manages to work and become involved in the Teresi crime family, and he swears an oath to stay loyal to them. And I can just imagine his journey throughout the whole game. Will he stay loyal to them? What is he gonna actually see and uncover joining this crime family? It's going to be quite exciting.
Do you wish to commit? I do.
I believe this game will have a lot of twists and turns in the story, being a story-driven game. This makes me really excited to see the birth of organized crime. So quoting the president of Hangar 13, he said, "With this title, we drew a lot of inspiration from the structure of Mafia Definitive Edition and Mafia 2, particularly how their focused linear storytelling resonated with players." And by the way, we need more smaller games
that don't take freaking 7 years to make.
I cannot wait to experience 1900 Sicily. So as this game has supposedly been in development for at least 3 years, I'm not exactly sure how long this game will be, but it has been hinted that it's going to be around 12 to 15 hours depending on the difficulty and playstyle, but for completionists it could be around 20 hours plus. This is music to my ears, because I said to myself, for £38 in the UK, which is crazy by the way, I was hoping for something in and around minimum 10 hours long. I don't think we always need freaking 40, 50, 60 hour games. Don't get me wrong, I love Death Stranding 2, but I've just completed it and it's taken me over 100 hours to do, and I can't imagine going back to another very, very long game so quickly. Like, if it was a long game, I can't just keep staying up at night streaming too late. Els might get annoyed. I have to whisper because Els is asleep and she was pissed that I was still on here. What I'm also excited for is that it will be a linear story. It's not going to be an open world game, and I think this makes sense with the story length as well. I love playing Mafia 1 and it felt like an open world game, but when driving around doing these missions, it always felt like I wasn't wasting my time. So most areas in this one have been designed specifically for the narrative and the pacing. So all I get from this is that the story is the main focus, and that's what I want with the story-driven game. Not games like Forsaken, Suicide Squad killed the franchise,
I'm your daddy now, shark.
Last of Us Part 2. Let's not get into that. What else is cool about this game, as well as being a linear story, there's going to be an explore mode, which will be unlocked after the prologue. So this mode allows you to roam around the Sicilian environment without the story, so you can ride horses, drive cars, collect hidden items, optional side content, which sounds freaking cool to me. Because the environments and the gameplay look so good, I'm so glad they've added this in. And this is similar to Mafia 1, the Definitive Edition, where it had a free ride mode. In Mafia 1, you could explore the city without main missions, engaging in side activities, drive various cars, and get into trouble with the police and gangs. I'm so excited that you don't just have to do the story again to actually take in the environments in this game. And what is cool is that they have said that post-launch they're going to be adding more things to this explore mode. Now, take that for what you will. Sometimes I don't like it when companies say we're going to add more content at the end, whether it's a success or not. Sometimes they can go back on their word. If they are going to add more content to this mode, that's going to be amazing. More locations, more things to do. That sounds pretty promising. But you know, you have games like Mind's Eye where we're going to relaunch it after launch. What? What the f? And we have seen some gameplay and it is looking a lot like Uncharted, which is only a good thing. Obviously, there's going to be an emphasis on shooting, stealth takedowns, horse riding, driving, which is really exciting. Now, judging by the gameplay, it doesn't change the formula or anything like that. It's a lower budget game. But for me, as long as it's fun, it doesn't need to be. I know some people say this is something we've played before, and I get that, but I don't mind more games like that. Wouldn't you want to play another sort of Uncharted game with a great story? Don't have to keep revolutionizing things that already work. I also love the little details in some of the new gameplay which we saw. When healing, you can use a bandage and it will actually go around his arm and it stays there for the remainder of the mission. I didn't think there'll be like small little details like that, which is quite promising. But what else you can see from the trailers is that there's a lot of emphasis on melee brawls and knife fights. I love what the website says: in an era when many didn't have access to guns, disputes were often settled in the traditional way with a blade, just like the UK in 2025.
Damn.
We have seen some of the knife crime and it looks very cinematic and exciting.
That's when you know you have won. Strike then and end it.
And like I said, knives will be the primary weapons in this game as it fits the time period, and there will be 4 knife classes in the game, from knives that can be thrown which have lower durability, knives that are one-hit takedowns, or ones that have highest durability. Some knives will have special perks as well as like healing after takedowns, and some of these knives will be unlocked as you go along in the game. We also have a few variations of pistols, shotguns, rifles, grenades and explosive which look insane in some of the clips shown. And I'm happy that there isn't too much of a selection like Uncharted, in a way where there are a few variations enough to choose what we want to work with. Now this game is made in Unreal Engine 5, and that very first gameplay trailer we got, I was super excited. I thought it looked amazing. Now I know it said it was rendered for that trailer, I get that, but then we saw some of IGN's gameplay and I don't know whether it's because of IGN, because it just looked like a little bit of a downgrade. It looked like a PS4 version. I know Luke Stevens did a video explaining more, which I haven't seen in detail, but then we saw some other gameplay which I believe was on PC, which looked totally different. So it's hard to say what this game is going to look like on PS5 as far as I know. If it does release and this looks really, really good, I'll be like, why did you post that in the first place, IGN? Where people would be like, well, I don't think I'm going to buy this now, it looks completely different. There's no word on a PS5 Pro version or update, which is a shame, and I hope more companies will add it on later on. I do hope that they add a PS5 Pro performance / fidelity mode, whatever you want to call it, to a later date. But the good thing though, which a lot of people were concerned about, was the frame rate in this game. Now originally some people were saying on live, and we're like, no, it's capped at 30 FPS, and then they had to come out and say no, there will be on PlayStation 5, there will be a performance mode that is averaging 60 FPS, and there will be a fidelity mode. So that is good news. We're 5 years into the generation. Like, I've got a PS5 Pro, I expect to have 60 FPS. What else is super cool to add to the setting of this game is that there will be full Sicilian voice acting, which is amazing, because imagine how that is going to sound, and I think that is what I will be playing it in. You're really going to think you're in like some sort of Italian gangster movie, you know? So the game will be coming to PC, PS5 and Xbox, and hey, I don't have a PC. A lot of people were saying that, wow, to run this on PC is quite difficult. You're going to have a very, very high-end PC. Maybe some of you can explain more in the comments what this means. What is very enticing about the game is that it's £39.99 in the UK. Hey, listen, we can't all afford $70 games, £70, £80. Battlefield 6, the Phantom Edition,
£100.
and I've seen online that in the USA it is $49.99, and I think this is only a good thing for gaming. Think about the games that I've bought this year. Some of them have been quite cheaper priced. Would I have bought all of these games if they were 70? Hell no. There is also a deluxe edition, of course, which is £54.99 and $59.99, and you get some bonuses included. I will probably buy this separately because this game looks really good, and they always have that option on the PlayStation Store. Always got to buy physical, you know? So my final thoughts on Mafia, the Old Country. It isn't a big AAA game, and I am very, very happy about this, because I feel like over the last few years, we've been very let down by a lot of AAA companies spending 6-7 years in development to only disappoint us. Like, I can only think of a AAA game off the top of my head. I might have forgotten some, but like Death Stranding 2 is the first AAA game in a while that I've just been like, wow, this game is absolutely insane. I'm very happy that this isn't a high budget game, because it means we can get more games more often. But imagine if this game was 80 hours. I wouldn't have games for anything. I wouldn't have time to do anything else. I would be single.
Hell yeah, you're gonna be single.
The gameplay looks super fun. It looks like Uncharted, and it looks like this is going to be a great story, because this is what it's focused on. And it all comes down to expectations. I'm not expecting a 10 out of 10 absolutely incredible game. I'm expecting a very good game with a really, really enticing story. A solid 10-15 hour game, which I'm going to go away thinking that was worth my money, and I would love to play that again. And the fact that there is obviously a 60 FPS on PS5, I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a solid game. But what do you think about this video? What do you think about Mafia the Old Country? Will you be buying? Are you waiting for reviews? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Well, let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video. My top 10 PS5 games in 2025 so far. Shout out to Pablo the First. Great video Nitro, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Donkey Kong Bonanza are two of the best games I've ever played in my life, and the fact that they both came out this year is saying something about how good this year is for gaming. The Game Awards will be interesting for sure. And shout out to Bloober7, First Berserker Kazan, KCD2, Expedition 33, Wu Chang Falling Feathers, Elden Ring, Night Ring. So yeah, this year has been super good. I haven't bought a Switch 2 myself. The only game I would play is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't fancy playing Mario Kart for some reason, but glad you're enjoying that. Bloober, you're enjoying a lot of games this year, a lot of like hard Souls games. The First Berserker, probably wanted to rip out the rest of my hair. It just shows you how many good games there are this year. I still can't get over how good Death Stranding 2 is. I think I'm going to take a break, but I keep going back to it to try and get 5-star everywhere. I'm unlocking some new trophies. I'm figuring out some other story bits in the game. I still can't stop playing it, but I'm also playing Wu Chang, which we kind of did that boss on stream, and I was fine near the end. I'm getting angry now. I'm getting angry. Urban, take care. I'm getting angry. I'm getting freaking angry. You know what? I'm getting freaking angry now. I'm getting angry.